It started as a posting on Facebook, a business owner in Toronto collecting clothing for Syrian refugees. And you know what? It took off in a big way. Volunteers showed up, and piles of sweaters and jackets and mittens just kept growing. Organizer Laura Jean Bernardson is now cutting off clothing donations so they can play some catch up, and she joins me from their current sorting site in Toronto. Laura Jean, you got to take me back to this idea that you had that grew.
Yeah, it started innocently enough. I put out, I think it was like last Wednesday, about 8-9 days ago. I've lost track of time. I put out a Facebook post and did a call for clothing donations, and I could see the shares started. I'm like 4 shares, 16 shares. Oh, this is great. I check in later, 283 shares, and then I'm like, oh my goodness. And last time I checked, it was 2,500 shares. So now we're day 2. I put out a request for volunteers. I needed someone to manage the project. I got project director Julie Mahfouz on board, thank goodness. I don't know where we'd be without her. Clay and Paper stepped forward with this temporary space that we have to move out of. People have just come in droves to help out. It's really amazing, and it shows what Toronto is made of.
Why do you think that is? Why have people come out in droves?
I think that, a lot of people were feeling like they wanted to do something to help, but they didn't know what, and this became something tangible they could act on really quickly. And so I feel like our job is keeping that momentum going and making sure the clothing was sort of the easy part, and now it's going to be the sorting and distribution, which we're working on now. So we're looking to connect with sponsor families to make sure we can get these clothes to where they need to go. We actually did our first delivery to a Syrian refugee family last night, so that was an amazing victory.
Explain how that went. So how did that go, that first drop-off to a Syrian family?
Well, one of the jobs we took on, like immediately, Julie and I sort of started puzzling out as soon as we teamed up on day 2. Like a random stranger I had never met before, she found me on Facebook, and we just said, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So we discussed like how could we do it, how would we distribute, and we decided that we wanted to have Arabic-speaking volunteers who would act as a liaison between the family and the clothing drive, so that they could, that the Syrian family could feel comfortable, could, suggest preferences in terms of like fit and whatnot, and we could make it really work. And so that's what happened. We had someone who spoke the language go along and sort of facilitate the whole thing, and it was just a beautiful moment.
I want to know what the emotion...
And so that's one. We've got a lot of families.
Emotion? Let me jump in here, Laura. What was the emotion from the family that received the donation? What did you get from them?
They were very grateful, like very relieved, very at first timid and shy. They didn't want to take too much stuff, and they were being very respectful. And as they sort of opened up and saw that, the group was there for them and the translator was there for them to help them feel comfortable, they were just like so gracious and so connected. And our team felt like, this is why we do it. Like Julie wrote a beautiful post on our Facebook group, saying like, this is it. This is real people that we're helping. So it's really great.
Final question for you. I can see a bunch of stuff behind you, people probably sorting through bags and bags, but what are you still in need of?
We're not in need of any clothes right now. What we really need is a space to move into. We want someone who has an unused warehouse space or something to get in touch with us and give us a space we can move into to operate out of. We need a moving crew for December 1st, so we need cube vans and people who can lift and move this stuff, all kinds of volunteers for that day. And we need to connect with those sponsor families. So our Facebook group is at The Clothing Drive on Facebook. It's a Facebook group, and you should be able to find it. Our little symbol is a little dove. And get in touch with us there, join our group, and see what you can jump on and help with.
Excellent. I want to thank you for your time. I wish you the best, Laura Jean. That's Laura Jean Bernardson.
Thank you for having us. This is great.
Absolutely, in Toronto.